Hi everyone, it is Atia. Welcome back to another video, or welcome if you are new. Today we're going to be talking about all of the books on my February hopefuls list slash TBR. So books that I have my eye on and want to read in the month of February. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed and have clicked the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. So I'm going to break this out into parts a little bit. The first part is going to be books from the library that are due back in the month of February. So they are, two of them are high priority because they're like new releases, so they're due back in 2 weeks, but the rest are due mid-February, and I do have the chance to renew the loan if of course someone's not waiting for it. So they're like, if I had to rank them where they are in the TBR, they'd be like mid-level, and it is all of these books, which if you watched my previous video where I returned a few library books after 18 months, I also did a library haul. So if you want to know what these books are about, you can go watch that video, but I'll very quickly just show you their name and cover. So first off, we have A Nearby Country Called Love, Promise by Rachel Eliza Griffiths, Remember Us by Jacqueline Woodson, Wish of the Wicked by Danielle Page, The King is Dead by Benjamin Dean, and Gone Wolf by Amber McBride. Again, if you want to know what these books are about, I do talk about them and give their synopsis in my library haul video. Now let's jump into all of the books that I physically own or pulled from my actual physical TBR shelf that I want to get to in the month of February. First up, we're actually going to start with some book club books. So at this current moment, I am part of 3 book clubs. Well, I run a book club, Bibliophiles Unite book club, which if you want to join, the link is down below. We read horror. Well, why did I start with that? That's not the main thing that we read. We read like literary fiction, contemporary fiction, some historical fiction, some are like horror that are by BIPOC authors. And then I'm a part of Be Too Weird, which focuses on sci-fi, fantasy, and speculative fiction by BIPOC authors. And then I'm actually part of my mother's book club called Theme Book Club, which is fairly new, and we are actually reading our first book in the month of February. So I have 3 book club reads that I need to prioritize this month. So for Bibliophiles Unite, we are reading What Storm, What Thunder by Miriam J.A. Chansey, and this takes place during a earthquake in Haiti, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake, and it follows the lives of several people as they experience this earthquake. And I guess it's kind of showing vignettes, like they are connected in some way besides the earthquake. And yeah, it's supposed to be really heart-wrenching and character-driven, and I am looking forward to this one. Then we have the Be Too Weird February pick, which is Forged by Blood by Ehigbor Okusan. Can you see this? There we go, yeah. And this one is a fantasy. I'm trying to remember the synopsis on my own so I don't have to read it, because I did haul this a few months ago. Okay, I'll just read it. In the midst of an authoritarian regime and political invasion, Demi just wants to survive. To avoid the suspicion of the non-magical Ajays. Okay, I remember. It just came back to me. So she has magic, but the people in her society don't. She has to hide who she is. Something happens where her mother is kidnapped, and she has to go and rescue her mother. And there's her best friend, and I believe, is he the prince? Yeah, so her best friend, not the prince, her best friend and her kidnap the prince. Or is her mother dead? Oh yeah, no, her mother's dead. Okay, so as revenge for that, she and her best friend kidnap the prince, and then somehow the prince ends up working with them, and they're like they're gonna go and take down this authoritarian society. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Then for the Theme Book Club, we are reading The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I've actually already read this book, so I will be rereading this, and this follows the story of 2 white passing black twins in, when do we start? Yeah, we start from the 1950s to the 1990s, and it follows their diverging journeys as one of them decides to pass in the world as white and the other one does not, and how this decision trickles down to their daughters. I really enjoyed it the last time I read it, so I'm looking forward to rereading it and just looking at it with, you know, some time has passed and with a new perspective. So I have several challenges that I am participating in. And so these challenges are year-long challenges, and I have spread them out throughout the month, and you'll see throughout the months, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So all of my TBRs, all of my hopefuls lists going forward are going to have books that are specifically from my physical TBR, or really my physical TBR, and they are going to be fitting certain prompts for these year-long challenges. And so the challenges that I am participating in are the 2024 backlist TBR. So that's basically, funny enough, a video that you will not have seen yet because I have not filmed it yet. That is coming. But basically it is 24 books that I want to read in 2024, and so each month I need to read approximately 2. I'm filming this on January 29th, and I did not read the 2 for January, but they will just roll over into February. Then I have a read or unhaul TBR. So this is 12 books that I'm like, I need to read or they gotta go. And then I have 12 recommendations from 12 friends, where on Instagram I asked my followers to recommend books to me, and the first 12 that commented a book that I had not read yet, then I added that to the 12. So starting off with the 24 books to read in 2024, we have 2, of course. The first one being The Song of Wrath by Sarah Raleigh, and the second one being The Color Purple by Alice Walker. I feel like you have to be living under a rock to not know what The Color Purple is. It follows 2 friends, or is it 2 sisters? Yeah, it's 2 sisters following their life, and yeah, this is a Black classic. I have not read it yet. I want to read it before the year is up, and I definitely want to read it in the month of February. It's, you know, you hear such good things about it, and I guess I'm a little scared. It's the same reason why so many of Toni Morrison's books and James Baldwin books are in my possession, and I have not read them yet, but I'm determined to read The Color Purple in the month of February. The Song of Wrath is the second book in the Bones of Ruin trilogy. I absolutely love the Bones of Ruin. It is a historical fantasy set in London that follows a Black girl who cannot die. She was a part of the circus. Something goes wrong. In the first book, she's on a tightrope with these swords. Now she's with the swords in front of a fire. We have the cover of the 3rd book is already out, and the 3rd book is coming out this year, and I just need to read this. I really need to read this. I'm looking forward to it. I think you can tell by the look on my face, and I have a feeling that it's going to be absolutely awesome. Also, look at her hair. Ugh. Just these covers are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The next book on my hopefuls list is Women of the Post by Joshunda Saunders, and this is on my 12 recommendations by 12 friends TBR. This is going to be the book for February, and this one is a historical fiction about the Black women who served in the post or the mail, I believe, for the military. And I'll put a correction if it's not for the military, but I'm pretty sure this is specifically, yeah, because if I'm remembering the synopsis correctly, they were super important in making sure that the letters and postage and packages between soldiers and their families were communicated and transported. So yeah, I had the e-arc of this, so I need to get on it and just read it. Next up, we have The Davenport by Crystal Marquise. This one is, well, it says on the cover, they have wealth and reputation. Now is their chance to find love. People were gushing about this book when it first came out, and the sequel is actually coming out in a few months. Or maybe it's this month, I'm not sure, but I will read the back to you. The Davenports are one of the few Black families of immense wealth and status in a changing United States, owing to William Davenport, a formerly enslaved man who founded the Davenport Carriage Company years ago. Now it's 1910. And the Davenports live surrounded by servants, crystal chandeliers, and endless parties, finding their way and finding love, even where they're not supposed to. There is Olivia, the beautiful elder Davenport daughter, ready to do her duty by getting married, until she meets the charismatic civil rights leader Washington Dwight and sparks fly. The younger sister, Helen, is more interested in fixing cars than falling in love, unless it's with her sister's suitor. Amy Rose, the childhood friend turned maid to the Davenport sisters, dreams of opening her own business and marrying the one man she could never be with, Olivia and Helen's brother, John. But Olivia's best friend Ruth also has her sights set on John Davenport, though she can't seem to keep his interest, until family pressure has her scheming to win his heart, just as someone else wins hers. This sounds deliciously messy, and I'm here for it. I truly am here for it. And also, this cover is just gorgeous. Then we have Faybound by Sarah L. Arifi. This is the first book in a new series by this author. This author is the author of the Burning Empire trilogy, which starts with the final strife and then goes into the battle drum. And this deals with Fae. So we have two sisters who are they half Fae? Oh, they're not half Fae. They're elves. Yeah, they're humans living with elves. They're from an elven homeland. They end up banished to the land of the Fae and the Fae court, and so there's a lot of political intrigue. I have been hearing nothing but amazing things from people who have read their early copies, and I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready. I absolutely loved the final strife. I've yet to read the battle drum. It's staring me in the face. And see, that's the issue with books, with beginner to series that you rate 5 stars, because that's the same thing that happened with The Song of Wrath, or is happening with The Song of Wrath. When that first opener book is so powerful, you procrastinate, or at least I do. I procrastinate in reading the follow-up book because I'm like, what if it's not as good? Then what do you do? Like, I don't know, but this is a start of a new series, so I'm just gonna go into it because there is absolutely no risk of that happening. Then the last book on my February TBR is another sequel. This is like the month of the sequels, but it is We Are the Crisis by Cadwell Turnbull. This is the second book in the Convergence saga. It starts with No Gods, No Monsters. I am looking forward to continuing this very weird story. We live in a world where society has just realized that the monsters of myths and legends are actually among us, and they live among us, and there's rioting and there's protesting, and honestly there's just chaos. There is chaos. I plan on listening to this one on audio because I had to read the first book twice to actually get what it was about. I forget the year I first read it, and I rated it like 3 stars, and it was a very generous 3 stars. And then I reread it for Be Too Weird, and I listened to it on audiobook, and it made so much more sense because I don't know if it was full cast or it just had like multiple narrators, but those narrators did their job, and I was no longer as confused as I was. But I am looking forward to seeing how this author moves us forward in this series. Alright, and those are the books that I want to read in the month of February that I have my eye on. Be on the lookout for my January wrap-up, which I actually have a little change coming to the way my wrap-up is going to be done, and I will explain that all in my January wrap-up, which will be coming sometime this week. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what are some books you are looking forward to reading in the month of February. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you are notified every time I release a new video. All of my socials and links to my book club, my Etsy shop, my Pango Books shop, all of that is linked down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.